to Adrift, episode 19. It is I, Fresco, and it is episode 19. I said that, but I wanted to say it again because it's the episode before episode 20, and it's crazy that I've been doing this for 20 episodes once a week. I think I may have skipped like 1 week, maybe 2. I'm pretty sure it's just 1 though, and it's just wild to me. It's like we're trucking along, man. So I don't know. Keep going to 20, maybe 30, maybe 40, 50, 60, 70, maybe 100. I don't know. Let's just keep this boat riding and see where we go. Today we have, and it is my special honor actually, because it's Vernae Taylor, and she's the first person to make it back on air with us on Adrift, and she just joined in. So I'm super excited to have her be a part of this episode once again, because we have exciting news for you, and we're going to keep this boat rocking. So without further ado, let me invite. Oh, she's already on the ball. That's what we love about Vernae. She moves. Love that. Everybody, welcome. Caballeros Code, Berno, Kiki. Hello, everybody. Where'd my head go? Hey, there we go. Vernae.
Hi.
Ah, did you get your hair done?
No, well, not recently. I think last week, maybe.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. You're a little sideways. I said horizontal, didn't I? I meant vertical.
Yeah, you sure did.
I meant vertical.
But then it's so funny because you know what? Then I became horizontal when you were vertical. Okay.
Oh,
So let's see. Do we have? I really want to get my shirt. Shout out to my little sis and her company, Elite Ebony.
Ooh, show it off. Show it off.
Shirt. Okay. Trying to. You can get a little.
Yeah, a little teaser. I love how the collar kind of comes around. There's that detail opening it up for a little pectoral area. I'm loving it. That's beautiful. What does it say?
That was me.
Oh, a little custom design by Vernae T.
Yeah, it's cut in the back on the sides. I did a little something.
Oh, okay. Okay, they can't hold us back. Hey, also, Berno, thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it. Love the hoodie, but I'm loving this shirt right now. So, yes. And D May J3, welcome.
Yes.
Vernae, yeah, I love it all.
That's to be.
Hey.
Thanks for being with us. Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
You are beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And that's why I had to compliment you, because I love the hairstyle, I love the color, and I love the pearly whites. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Yeah.
Shout out to my dentist, Dr. Centora.
Hey, everybody, go get you a dentist. If you don't have one, brush and floss. Don't play games.
And floss. Can I tell you, not a lot of people floss. Like, they don't know how important that is. You can't neglect your gums. Even Julia Roberts said it in Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm. And if Julia Roberts said it, it is gospel.
Come on now.
We love her. Now listen, in case you don't know Vernae Taylor, which at this point I find is so difficult to believe, we're going to do our bio because it is updated and refreshed. Because, and I need to really emphasize this, because last time you had a lot of things going on, but those things are all done now, and we have new things going on. And that's why I love Vernae, because she don't slow down for nobody. I love it.
Boss.
So, let me fill up them lungs with air, because we are going for a ride. Here we go. Vernae's path to entrepreneurship began in 2019 when she took a leap of faith by becoming a co-author in Breakthrough with Johnny Wimbrey, Les Brown, and Nick Halik. Now a 4-time author, 4 times, and coach. Her mission is to help people heal from a loss and overcome grief without losing themselves. And I really want to emphasize that, without losing yourself. That's beautiful. She is inspirational CEO nominee for Who's Who of 2020. She's the only female co-host of the young adult online series Reality Vibes, which we will be talking about that because I have thoroughly been enjoying it. She is the co-creator of Sister to Sister on Facebook and the creator of a new group called Healing and Overcoming Grief, which actually I must have just glazed over that because I definitely want to talk to you about that.
Yes, I literally just started it like a week ago.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why we need to know. You can hear her narrating in the newly released audiobook, Our Truth Is Not a Lie, and pre-order a special edition hard copy today. She doesn't plan on stopping, and upcoming releases are on the way. Letters to My Father in 2020, The Evolution Effect, October 2020, Life, Love, and Loss, a poetry collection, November 2020. And for more information, you can visit her link tree, which I will tag on my own link tree, actually.
Thank you.
Vernae, books, content, back to back to back.
I tell you, I promise you, I didn't plan it this way. I did not.
You say that, but it's really amazing to me because you just keep coming. I mean, that's why we got to talk about this, how you multitask and how you keep so many things going on all at the same time. That is a true talent.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And thankfully, I'm in a really great network of authors and entrepreneurs and coaches and mentors. And we are also super duper supportive. So whenever we're involved in something, it's just like natural that everybody wants to bring somebody else in, you know, like, oh, girl, I need to get you in. Oh, you're empowering, and oh, you're inspirational. So let's get together and let's collaborate. So that's the beauty of some of these projects that literally just happened when we started the shutdown, I guess we should say, right? And so that's how I arrived here, the 4-time author.
And it's amazing because while other people were really trying to find themselves, you were trucking along doing what you needed to do. And it's amazing how opportunities presented themselves as the shutdown happened, whereas everybody else, it was just like, you know, everything was caving in.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's funny that you say that because a lot of times people saw this as a time of despair, a time of sorrow, and believe you me, going into maybe the first couple of weeks, even the first month, I was having a really rough time. I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I'm not okay. You know, and I realized that you have to check in with yourself to know when enough is enough, and maybe you're not like yourself, you know, and everybody knows, everybody has a different barometer. But for me, the important thing about what happened with the pandemic and the shutdown is prior to, I had been praying, God, please show me my purpose. Show me my purpose. Show me exactly what I need to be doing, where I need to spend my time and my energy. Because if anybody else is on this call, if you're an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a hustler, you are literally chasing the opportunity. You're chasing the money, and you feel depleted and defeated a lot of times at the end of the day. And you're like, well, what do I have to show for it? And that's what I was doing as a performing artist, as a singer, as an actress, you know, doing stage, film, touring with the Jenkins Brothers, you know, singing background, singing praise and worship at several different churches. It was a lot, and it was a lot of running and not feeling fulfilled. So when I made that prayer and that declaration, I stayed consistent in that and looking for the signs. God, show me, what is it I should be doing? And now I feel like I have fully arrived at my purpose and what it is that I want to be doing and where I want to spend my time. So here we are.
That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
No, because, two key words, prayer and declaration, because when you say the word prayer, of course, you think about humility. You know, you just think about just pouring it all out, putting it into the universe, pouring it into the higher power, whoever it is you believe and you pray to. It's just such a place of humility and transparency. But then you say declaration. And then declaration is like, I do hereby declare, if you don't know what I'm about by now, you're going to learn today.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. No, because it fully encompasses both sides. It does. It's like, I need to speak this into existence, but just in case you didn't hear me, I'm going to say it I'm going to say it a little bit louder for the people in the back, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and that's what we need to be doing. We need to declare, and my coach actually tells me this, you need to declare what it is that you want. That's what you need to speak out of your mouth, because words are so powerful, right? So we don't want to talk about, oh, I'm lacking this and I don't have that and I wish I was here. No, speak into existence the things that you want to come into existence, and the things that you want as if they were there already. You know, so you almost have to be a visionary. You almost have to see it before you even say it, before you even believe it, and before you can even achieve it. So that's really where that comes from. And in prayer, for me, that's like an important part of communication with God. For me, I just feel like it's a time where I can literally like unload I can just pour it out. And it's not always like asking or a request. Sometimes, like you say, it's about humility. It's about, where I fall short. What are my flaws, where I need work, because God knows there's a lot of areas that I am still working on, like patience. So yeah, prayer is a really important practice. If you don't have it, find your thing. Prayer, meditation, quietness and solitude, whatever it is, you need to do that so that you can get to another level.
And you just said that. You just said that you got to check in with yourself, And you saying that is it's important, because how do you know how you feel if there's a lot of clutter, a lot of chatter, a lot of noise in the background? I was thinking about that, and one of the questions I thought to ask you was, like, how do you even have any sort of guilty pleasures, things that distract you, like Netflix, like music, like, mobile video games, like,
Mobile video games.
I'm asking for a friend,
You're hilarious. I love you. But yes, absolutely. So, I mean, guilty pleasures. Yes. I like food. I'm an emotional eater. Okay.
Ooh.
So my guilty pleasures are, I love chocolate. I've now since transitioned into like dark chocolate, which is supposed to be better for you, right? I love pizza. So sometimes when I've done really great and I hit a mark or I achieve the goal, I feel like now I can like down an entire pizza by myself. And so that's a guilty pleasure. But I would say the main thing that I'm working on that is difficult and has been a challenge is procrastination. Right? Thinking that you have the time, or overloading myself in a really short amount of time. Like there's something about, the adrenaline, there's something about the excitement. I mean, even when I was actually trying to apply to the School of Communication at Rutgers, I needed to just do it at the last minute. I needed to like look at the clock and I'm typing. And that's what I did in school when I was typing 10-page, 20-page papers as a communication major. For some reason, I just liked that sense of urgency and this heightened emotion that, oh my gosh, I got to do this in this little time. And that sometimes works against me, especially when you're working on multiple projects and you're working with deadlines and you're collaborating with different people that have different ways of working. So, yeah.
And that's a lot of energy too to kind of take in. Oh my, yeah, people are just tuning in. James Landry, love James. So many people. Keela, right?
Yes, and shout out to my cousin. I just saw that my cousin Edward was on here. Edward, if you hear me, I love you. I'm so glad that you're on here. I did recognize your name. So I don't even know that he's really that much on social media, but I did see him pop up. So I do want to just shout him out. And Davita, of course, she was one of the first to log on. So thank you guys for being here.
Shout out to friends, shout out to families far and wide, But yeah, no, with procrastination, I was that same person. And I always thought to myself, if I could channel this energy whenever I wanted it, it would be out of this world. The things that I could get done. For example, I just started using this new platform for delivering photos to my clients. Now, what makes this platform so fantastic is that there was always the question of, I would like to order prints. How do I go about doing that? So this service offers that. So if anybody wants a print, boom, 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 they just, click quantity, what size, what sort of, what style of print, whether it's metallic or what have you, cool. And they just do it. And so just as I was setting this up, I was getting my prices all done. I had spreadsheets open trying to understand, what the profit margin on it was and all that fun stuff. I get a phone call.
Uh-oh.
And the phone call's another client. One thing that I actually get frustrated with is having to stop one thing to do another thing, right? Because it's that energy, it's that shift of hello. It's that shift of I'm moving from this thing to that thing, right? So I, to my chagrin, I was just like, all right, let's do this. So I pick up the phone, we talk, I discuss the details, and the email that I wrote back to the potential client about what the details of what we discussed, I blew that out in like a minute. You know, I just, like, my fingers were like possessed. And it was because, just like you said, this sort of urgency to get back to doing something else allowed me to go at like lightning speed. And it's like, how do you channel that? Like, whenever you want it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, they say that if there's an idea that pops into your mind within the 5 seconds, you need to like act on it right away. So it's imprinting into your mind. And because we always have this idea of multitasking, right? When we're really not multitasking, we're not, you know, there's something we're putting down to pick up something else, or maybe we're not doing this one as well and as efficient. So I think a lot of times when something pops in my brain, like you said, if that person called and you need to get that response right away, go for it, do it. Like if I have an idea, I pop up, whether it be in the middle of the night, whether I have my phone, whether I'm doing my, you know, using my tape recorder. You have to do it at that moment. And that's how I get it working. But deadlines have helped me. I actually, I think, what is it, Home Goods, I just invested in like one of those large register board type calendars.
Yeah.
Really helping me, because it's almost like a vision board. It's really big. I'm someone that does to-do lists. So shout out to those that write to-do lists every night. Everything that I need to do. Sometimes it's short term, long term. I kind of put it by like importance or priority. And I'm writing this on this board, and I'll do big bubbles, you know, big letters. And I have it in my bedroom in a way where I can see it. I can stand anywhere in my bedroom and see it, so that I'm constantly looking at it and I'm constantly being reinforced of like, okay, we need to get this done. And then there's something about erasing that, like, oh, I got that done. I feel so accomplished when I do that.
Yeah.
So, yes. So
Yeah.
that has helped tremendously on the procrastination and having the deadlines. Even literally, I just had to like jot down all of my September calendar of what I needed to do and the dates. And that's how I'm making it work.
That's amazing. By the way, that was a fantastic tip. And if anybody has any tips or is curious about how to kind of improve your workflow, let us know in the comments. We'll definitely be happy to respond to that. But yeah, any tips are welcome. Any questions are welcome. And yes, I'm the same way. I have this big dry erase board, and I bought a tiny one at first. I was like, oh, you know, I'll start tiny, and you know, it just won't take up too much space. I literally, that wound up under so many mountains of paper. Like I had to go digging for that thing. It did not work. It's all about the big stuff. It has to be in your face. I love that.
And you're just as busy as me. So I can't even imagine that you would start tiny. Okay, people, he is trained. He's trained in like therapy and psychology. And then you're a photographer, and then you're running your own business, and now you're doing this, Adrift. So I can't imagine how you would have even started tiny. Like,
my thing is I'm also a minimalist, and it doesn't even make sense because all of my ideas are so big, all of the thoughts that I have are so big and consuming, and yet I attempt to approach life in a very minimal aspect. I don't like too many things. I don't like too many big things.
so simple.
I don't like taking up space.
Okay.
So I try and keep everything as simple as possible. So in my mind, something small made sense, but in practice, not so
much.
Not so much at all. No, it's terrible.
Opposite. For me, I make everything complex, and so that's very difficult. That, you know, that's another thing with patience that I'm working on. But actually, one of my fellow authors and entrepreneurs, she just said Trello. I don't know if you've used that app. Trello.
Yeah, there's like that. And 17 Hats is another one, right? There's like a few kind of things like
Monday, a lot of those that are really great for project management. It's good if you have an assistant. It's good just to kind of have tasks. But see, for me, I'm old school. So like, even though we have these devices, right? You have your phone calendar, you have a task list, you have a notebook or notepad or what have you. I like to write things down. Something about the planner. I've always invested in a planner. I have like 1,001 journals, okay, and I've always been that way since I was a kid. So no matter what device comes out, when we're constantly upgrading because technology is constantly changing, I will always forever be writing it down, like to-do list, date, time.
That's funny, actually. A friend of mine who just tuned in, Sammy Tuff there, she's telling me, she was like, is it weird that I date everything? Like all my journal? And I was like, no, it's not. That's a reference. That's how you know when you had the idea. Even if you put the time down, I wouldn't be mad at you. Like this happened at 2 a.m. or 12 p.m., whatever. Yes.
Planners and journals are the best. Absolutely. If you are a writer, if you are a visionary, if you know what it is, for me, journals, I think it's about writing down the vision, right?
Yeah.
Really stating it, writing it down, make it plain, just having it in front of you. Something about writing it down makes it real. And I know each year, I don't know if anybody else does this, I write down my goals, or I'll jot it down like in a Word document or something like that. And it's really surprising when you go back and you look at like what you've accomplished, all because you wrote it down. There's something about, there's like this accountability, that aspect that is attached to you writing it down. Yeah, throw up the hearts. Give me some hearts. Give me
some hearts.
Yeah, because, you know, and that helps me. That helps me just creating a vision for myself. And then I can go back and refer to it, or like to the point of what your friend said, writing down the date and knowing like, oh my gosh, this is where I was in March, right? On March 12th, I remember where I was. And then the next day, the world shut down. To now. And I can't even imagine what has happened, what I've accomplished, and the strides I've made, you know, all because of what I wrote down, and the dates and the visions and the goals that I had. So
yeah, no, 100%. And Dee, actually, my neighbor, and side note, I just love that even my neighbor's on here. Like, it's such a family and friends affair, so it's fantastic. Yeah, what's up, what's up? But yes, writing a contract to yourself. And I have a theory about that. I feel like when you're on your computer or you're on your phone, that sort of time that it takes to write it down so quickly by typing it doesn't give your head the time to kind of etch it into your mind, your body, your spirit, soul, what have you.
Okay.
Because when you really have to sit on it as you're writing, like every single letter, the script or the whatever, like you have to etch that in your mind.
No,
so
you're right. I didn't think about it that way, because you're right. Every life is so fleeting, and we're so quick with it, right? And some of us, honey, we're not even typers, we're swipers.
Word.
You know, that's a whole nother thing. Like, can I tell you, you don't even need to spell nowadays. Like people don't even know how to spell the words, because we can literally have the auto type, the auto correct, the auto spell. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So that's funny that you say that. That's a really great point.
I do. And Epitome of Class, welcome. By the way, I love your name, your handle, Epitome of Class. That's a beautiful affirmation in and of itself. Just to wake up and remind yourself.
Shout out to my diamond friends, honey, all my authors that are on here supporting. I appreciate you.
They know all about it. Are they, by the way, are they also in some of your books as well? Letters to My Father? Would she personally?
No, well, you know, some of them I've collaborated in different projects, like some of them, you know, through the Write a Legacy program. Shout out to Carl Michelle and Young Executive is what they call them, Youth Empowerment Show. A lot of them, some of them are through the Write a Legacy program, where I will be releasing my Life, Love, and Loss poetry collection. And then there's some others that I've worked with through another book camp that I did. Shout out to Taria Avant, my coach there. So yeah, I mean, they're literally, it's crazy. That's another thing that I was praying for. Not only just purpose and aligning that with my passion, to just kind of figure out what is my mission and what should I be doing and what's my assignment, so to speak. I was also praying that the right people would come into my life. You know, and that those that maybe were not aligned with my purpose and passion, or maybe those that, you know, really weren't for me, that I somehow distance myself from them, but then I'm attracting exactly what it is that I want. I'm attracting people that I can aspire to be like, or I can attract people that have gone and been places that I've never been, that I can actually now refer to for wisdom, for guidance, you know. And it's been amazing, the amount of coaches and mentors and friends and collaborators and creatives. It's just been amazing. So be intentional. Anybody that's listening, be intentional about what it is that you want. Write it down, pray it, declare it, decree it, whatever you need to do. Get it out, so you know, you're aware, you hear it, and you can hold yourself accountable for going after it.
You know, I want to share something in response to that, because and I'm not going to take this as my own idea. This is not my idea. I am 100% stealing this. Well, yesterday, again, with my friend Sammy Tuff on there, we did something that she brought to my attention. It was called Start, Stop, Continue. It's a little game where you write 3 things you want to start, 3 things you want to stop, and 3 things you want to continue.
Ooh, okay.
And Yes, check it
Okay,
out.
to write it down. I'm
You,
like,
you
ooh,
write it down?
I'm like, where's my pen?
I know. I fell in love with it. The minute she said it, I was like, oh, that's such a great idea. Because, again, you're writing it, you're not typing it.
Okay.
And for those of you who are writing, taking notes, it is start, stop, continue. This is an exercise that she got from Monet, Monat.
Okay.
So start, stop, continue, three things that you want to do in each sector. And I love that because one of the things that I wrote down was that I wanted to stop thinking I can't do things.
Mm.
And it's wild because when I decided on that affirmation, today has been insane. I think I wrote that down yesterday. And today I've gotten a call from a client. I finished the gallery presentation with the ability to purchase photos. I got a
Okay.
crazy compliment from somebody saying, you know, you're such an artist in the sense that you will do whatever it is that you feel inclined to do. And you don't stop yourself. And I remember saying, like, that's so bizarre. I just wrote that down. Like, how weird is it that
See?
somebody would say that back to me the very next day?
Wow, that's powerful
Yeah.
though. That is, but see,
Yeah.
that's a powerful example that you had that experience to constantly revisit, right? In a time
Hmm.
when you're feeling doubtful, in a time when you're feeling low, you're like, wait a
Hmm.
minute, my words have power. Like
Yeah.
I can put intention behind my actions and like move mountains. Like that's that's serious business. So that's amazing because when I was going to ask you what the stop meant, because I'm thinking like, well, what do I want to stop? But you're right. There's some people that are like, they need to eliminate the word can't in their vocabulary. I think Alicia Keys was saying that there were some things that she had to literally stop doing. She had to
Hmm.
stop saying it. She had to stop thinking it. She had to recondition her mind. And people around her were telling her that. So that she could be Alicia Keys. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Alicia Keys of all people is somebody who and I love when successful and famous people do say these things because it's like, wait, I thought this just only happened to a select few people. I didn't think anybody could do,
Listen.
you know, and when you hear that kind of transparency, it's so awakening. And by the way, D goes, this should be on Zoom as well. Thank you so much. This is
Ah,
good. I appreciate
thank
you, bud.
you.
And
Thank you. Give me some
authority and
hearts. Fill up the hearts, honey.
I'm
I love hearts.
saying, I love to
You know,
see
we can't hug
hearts.
anymore. So,
I
so
know,
give
we
me
just got heart
virtual
emoji.
hearts. Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs and kisses, right? Like,
Word,
let's talk about
word. So,
dating in quarantine.
you know. But yeah, no, it's wild. It is. And again, going back to that word declaration, when you said that, I was just like, ooh, because certain words hit different. That's why I love words. There's very specific words that when you hear them, you feel them. And declaration is one of them. I do think we should declare what we want out of life. And if you want to, this is another thing, actually, I'm a huge supporter of. Go into the woods, climb a hill, and shout out as loud as you can what you want. Delaware Water Gap is
Okay, because
fantastic.
you had me until we was going into the woods. I
Yep,
was
yep.
like, Diane's scary. I cannot. No, no, no.
Now find a hill, go on top of a
Go
high
into the
rise,
woods.
you know, just be as high as you possibly can, metaphorically, and if you so incline, literally, and just shout. Let the universe
Yeah.
know what you need because I promise you, it will hear you. It'll hear
You're
you.
right. You're
You know?
absolutely right. You're right. I'm gonna stay in my bedroom. I'm gonna stay in my little cute little apartment here. You can go out into the woods, declare it for
Girl,
me. I'll go ahead and
I,
write it on a piece of paper, put it in a bottle. You can throw it for me. But
I know you got a rooftop.
oh my gosh, but you're right. You're absolutely right because, and that's the thing, and that's why I mean, self-talk is so important. That's something that I've been training myself to do. It's something I'm speaking about in all of my work that I've done, in every live, in every promotion to whatever book or project that I was doing. I always say that's something I even talked about with you on Breakthrough when I was here the first time. About reconditioning my mind, about unlearning and learning. Sometimes we're unlearning what other people are telling us. Sometimes we're unlearning what we tell ourselves that are not necessarily the truth, right? It's just based off of what what we see in right now, in the now, right? It's almost like we limit ourselves based off of what we can see. And that's why faith is so important.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It's so important because you can't see it. It's not materialized just yet. But if you
Mhm.
can envision it, if you can feel it in here, there's like no stopping it.
There is no, and that's the thing, right? It's like, there's this one thing that's been
Claim it.
very pertinent lately, because also there's a conversation I'm going to have that I mentioned in the last Adrift, but in any case, it has to do with this idea of self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's actually a really big topic in bullying in schools where
Ooh.
when you tell a bully to stop being a bully, it's actually having the adverse effect and reinforcing in their mind that they are a bully, and so they adopt that identity further.
Wow. Now, where did
Yeah.
you hear this? Because I mean, it's so crazy that you're speaking about bullying because this is like really important topic. You know, as like I mentioned to you on a personal level, we know somebody that's been bullied for several years now, and there still hasn't been any recourse in what happened. But where did you hear this about how the psyche of the bully and how they adopt that?
Yeah. So it's actually there's countless articles written on it in psychology journals,
Yes,
sociology journals. Yeah,
psychology
no.
journals, up to academia, honey. He's a scholar.
He's
He's
a
reading in
scholar.
journals.
But no, it's crazy because it's almost like when you put a child in timeout and you don't give them the resources to understand why they're in timeout, all they're thinking about is that they're in timeout. All they're thinking about is I am being punished, and maybe because the person who loves me or my caregiver, my care provider, is putting me in this position, they must be right. This must be where I belong. And so it
Wow.
reinforces that negative behavior because you're not giving them an activity to work through why the issue was incorrect or of a poor behavior. And that's bullying. That's in schools, that's raising children, but we do that to ourselves every single day.
We do, we do. And see, and that's why, like I said, writing everything down and checking in with yourself, taking inventory of where you are and being truthful about it, right?
Oh, yeah,
Being
hearts.
honest about it. Yes, thank you, Hearts. But yes,
Mm-mm.
being honest about it, you know, because that's where you understand, okay, so this is how I did it this time. And that didn't really work for me. So now I have the power to change it. I have the power to go another way. Or maybe explore other, you know, alternatives that I probably wouldn't have arrived to had I not checked in with myself to know what it is that I was going through. But I think it's really important that you said that about raising of kids because I know from just being like the first babysitter to like all my cousins. I have 5 little cousins. My brother has 4 boys, and just being in their lives and understanding how to discipline them, you realize that first of all, every child is different, right? So you
Right.
can't discipline everybody the same because not everybody can do timeout. Not everybody needs a spanking or you know a pat on their hand or a pat on their bottom. You know what I mean? You sometimes need to tell them and share with them. Okay, now you know mommy's really disappointed with you, right? And you know that you're not supposed to do this. And well, this is in my mind because I don't have any kids, but you know,
Right.
like in my mind, this is
In
the mother I
theory.
want to be. You
In
know,
real life, you better get your ass over here.
you know, so mommy knows you know, mommy's disappointed. And you know why mommy's disappointed, right? It's almost like you need to work that out because that helps them with their reasoning. That helps them, you know, with their conflict resolution and just building up their self-esteem. So don't get me started, honey, because you
Yeah.
know, that's a whole other thing. But I love that you brought that up. That's so true. Wow.
Yeah, and then in the way that we do it to ourselves every day, I was doing some other research on because in talking about even Black Lives Matters and the education that our community needs to be aware of, there was this group format that I found called the Emotional Emancipation Circle. And so I'm going to say that just because like I had to think about what it was called, the Emotional Emancipation Circle. And so this is a community-led group that anybody can start. The resources are free. You just, you go to the website, find it, download it, and then you have your program. So you know exactly what you need to do. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a psychologist. It's completely community-driven. You can do it yourself.
Okay.
And what I loved about this is the idea that one, it's specific, and I think this can apply to a lot of different things. AA is a very similar sort of format, but it's
Okay.
about being in a group, discussing what it is throughout your week, perhaps, or maybe it's monthly. So what certain recent current events that you have had issues with, and within this particular setting with your experiences being Black, and understanding that in a community setting where other people can respond and relate to you. And
Yes.
so it's called an emotional emancipation circle, because the idea is we too often walk around with all these emotions that are undealt with, unchecked, and we feel that it's our burden to hold it. And so this whole idea is to emancipate yourself, to remove from yourself, to expel from yourself these emotions that you're just harboring and not letting go of. And it's
Yeah.
such a simple idea, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's really important, especially with the group that I just started on Facebook, you know, healing and overcoming grief, and just even everything. It basically stands on the foundation of my book, Letters to My Father, that you need to find a tribe, you need to
Yeah,
find a support group, you need to tap into other people's strengths sometimes, right? Because sometimes you don't have it in you. Or maybe you
right.
have it in you and you just haven't discovered it yet, right? Because I always say that we always have breakthrough. Now, mind you, in my first book, Breakthrough, my chapter was Unlock Your Greatness, because we all have it, but some of us, we have it locked away, we have it tucked away, and we don't know. But something about getting around a group of people that share in our experiences, that look like we do, that are speaking up, have this voice, that you can somehow find the strength to now have your own voice and figure out, okay, what can I do better because of that support? So I think that's really important. It's really important. And sometimes it just helps. It helps to lean on other people. Yes, yes. Yeah,
It does. It
it's
does.
so important. It's so important.
I mean, even you, I've leaned on you before. Y'all, by the way, I'm going to be 100% transparent. I called this person crying one time. I was like, girl, I need support. Something happened. This shit was hard. And she picked up and she made me feel better. So 100%, you know what I mean? And like, this coming from a man calling a woman, like, it is okay to have these emotions and to work these emotions out, especially being a man of color. Like, being a man of color, again, you're being told constantly, you got to deal with that emotion, and it is your burden to bear.
Right.
It is, you know, it is my burden, but why is it that we can't have those conversations? Because that's when it hurts, when you can't talk about it.
And that's the thing. And see, this is the thing. And I love that, remember, we had that moment and I said, you know, this is exactly what we other men and other men of color need to see. This idea of vulnerability and just having a safe space to be vulnerable and just show up and be your exact self. Simply because the misconception is that, oh, these feelings, if I tuck them away and deep inside, they're going to evaporate. No, they're still there, and they are going to resurface at some point, and they will manifest themselves in other ways and in other areas of your life. And at that point, you don't have the control of when it's going to manifest, you know? And so it's better to just get it out, because listen, we always talk about, oh, women are so emotional and they're this and they're that. No, men are emotional too, but sometimes it's passed off as passive aggression. Sometimes it's passed up of, you know, this masculinity, and no, you're emotional too. You catch feelings too. You know what I mean? You upset too. You get upset too, because we all are coming from the human race, right? So it's part of our humanity that we have these emotions and we have these senses. Like that doesn't, you know, magically go out the window because, oh, you're man, I'm woman, so you don't have those emotions. That's not true. And we have to get out of our own way and just understanding there's beauty and there's power even in our weakness. There's strength even in our weakness. There's strength in our limitations and what we don't know, because we understand that there's another opportunity, another day to get it right, to grow and evolve, as we just spoke about on another personal conversation recently. So, you know, that it's all like full circle. But
It
yeah, let's
is
get
all.
at these comments, honey. We got
Yeah,
a
no,
lot here.
Dee just said, he was like, were you talking to my wife today? She was just saying that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you just said full circle. So check this out now. Now coming back to motivation, how is it that you can continue your motivation if those repressed feelings are still inside you and they're starting to reflect, or they're starting to project outward in the way that you lash out? And they're starting to project outward in the way that your inability to allow your mind to be free to just get things done. You
Okay,
feel me?
that's a really great question, because I can tell you, for those that know, that follow me on social media, you know, shout out to You know, everybody that follows me, all of the people that have supported me, whether it be on Instagram or Facebook. Yes, full circle. Yes, Sammy. So for those that know, it's no secret that this past week has been a really rough week. And it's been no secret that being in the thick of writing this book, you know, in dedication to my father, who passed in 2011, right? We think about it. It wasn't just yesterday. But as I'm writing this, I'm reliving it, these emotions, everything is resurfacing. And that means old triggers are resurfacing. And, you know, I'm reliving some of these experiences, right, as I assist and help other people. And, you know, I've had some triggers, and I've had some breakdowns. I've had some meltdowns. I've had some not so happy, favorable moments where I might have lashed out, or like you said, you know, I might have done something that maybe I'm like, oh, I could have done that a different way. And that's important. It's important to recognize that. I think acknowledging where you are, because see, I always pride myself on being very self-aware. So I know when I'm like, oh, I woke up on the wrong side of bed. Ooh, I'm not feeling right. I'm not feeling like myself. I know I'm feeling gully. I'm feeling greasy. I'm about to pop off. And that's when I take a moment, I take a breath, I disengage, you know, perhaps, I mean, I'll be talking to people on the phone, you know, and those that know me kind of can sense it. And so shout out to my brother, you know, because sometimes he's on the receiving end. Okay. But shout out to my brother, ZF. I love you. Hi, Marcus. But yeah, so, you know, and with that, acknowledging where I am and really kind of taking a piece of humble pie and knowing when to say, I'm sorry, I wish I could have done it differently, you know, finding a way to get it out and release it in a healthy way. Okay. So give you some examples. For me, I'm an artist, right? So for me, I can sing a song and I will sing to the heavens. I will sing my face off. I will cry. That's another thing. We all need to remove the stigma of crying, because something about crying is just so therapeutic. It just gets it out of your body. You release it, and then you move on. And I even spoke about it in my group. I posted it in Facebook. So anybody that's dealing with grief, please be sure to follow the Facebook Healing and Overcoming Grief so that we can heal together and have that support system. But I literally was going through that process pretty much for the world to see, as I just realized a friend of mine that I had spoken to less than 48 hours ago was gone, you know, had an untimely death and was killed and brutally killed. And you're kind of like trying to wrap your brain around that, and just wrap your brain around the state of the world, right? Every day, as I'm praying for my own purpose and my goals, I'm praying for every parent, man, woman, child that has lost someone to injustice, has lost someone to police brutality. I'm praying for the protesters. You know, I'm praying for those that have already lost loved ones due to COVID. You know, all of those things we are wrestling with, and we have to deal with it, unpack it, write it down, whatever it is that you need to do, acknowledge it, and then release it. Because then, only then, you can do something about it. Only then you have the power to make a change. You know, and that's just what we have to get real with. And we have to become more comfortable. And I find that it is like a muscle exercise to get in the habit of just checking in with yourself. Like, okay, how are we feeling today? You know, am I feeling grounded? Am I feeling anxious? And, you know, am I feeling sad? And, you know, am I feeling unsure? All of those
and why am I feeling that? You know, because that's right. That's like step one is, what is this emotion? Where is it coming from? You know, where is it coming from? Because it could be something stupid. Honestly, like, I've been upset over the dumbest things, but the emotion.
But you never know. Don't call it dumb.
No. But I mean, what I mean to say is that it was like a little thing. You know, it was something that, had I expressed it, it would have, you know, it would have subsided a lot quicker. But because I didn't give myself the time to kind of process and accept it and, you know, understand where it was coming from, it turned into something bigger. You know, that pain or that regret or what have you that I felt became stronger than the initial feeling.
Right.
And so that's what I mean is, like, I say it's dumb because it was so little. It was almost like so insignificant. And that's where you get, I think, like, petty people. You know,
Ah,
like people that get, right, they get upset over like the tiniest little thing, but you don't realize what other triggers they haven't dealt with yet. You
that's
know,
what it's
and
about. That's
yeah,
that's exactly what it's about. Because
you know.
if pain not dealt with, it could explode.
Mhm.
It could just show up in ways that you can't even control. And then what? You know, because you didn't see it coming. You couldn't
Mhm.
really prevent it. You couldn't find a way to avoid it. You couldn't find a way to cope with it because you left it untouched, undealt with, unresolved. And I think
Mhm.
that's what it is. We don't reconcile these things with ourselves. So now it's projected out into the world, and not everybody's going to have the grace for you,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
everybody's going to have the understanding. Not everybody's going to have the capacity to love you through whatever that flaw was, whatever that mistake was, whatever that trigger, or however you know, lashed out. You know, that's why I say thank God to my brother that, you know, I could say I'm sorry. I could apologize. And because he knew that I wasn't in the right space, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of times it's because he extended that grace to me, but you know, someone out in the world that doesn't know me, they may not extend that same grace.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
important that we reconcile that with ourselves first.
Mm.
Check
Yeah.
in, take inventory of where you are first. So hi.
Yes.
But yeah,
Welcome.
let's get into talking about some of the things that we've got going on because, honey, you know, we
Yeah.
talk.
And I was just noticing it's like our
The
last
time
14 minutes. It's
flies.
like it is amazing to me. But yeah, just in the interest of time, I just want to say very quickly, some people might see this as maybe a little divergence or what have you, but all of this to say that I do also feel that motivation is it's it's more easy to be motivated when you're free enough to have the thoughts and to process the new information because you don't have the baggage weighing you down. And I feel like ultimately everything that we've said has led up to this particular statement that you have to be free enough to be able to do multiple things at the same time. Because if you're dealing with a breakup, you're dealing with a loss, you're dealing with grief, you're dealing with all of these things, and like you said, they're unchecked, you don't have the space to run a business. You don't have the space to check in with a group or with a mentor. You don't have the space to journal. You don't have it. So free yourself up for it. So that's my last kind of closing thought.
Okay, well, free yourself. Go on
You
now.
know,
Free yourself.
free yourself. Let it
Yeah, I
go.
think Fantasia has that's one of my favorite songs. I think it's called Free Yourself. I don't know. Let me
Yeah.
know, guys, in the comments if that's the right name. But shout out to Fantasia because you're right. You're absolutely right. You need to empty yourself out, and just get it all out, and that way you can fill yourself up with beautiful things and you know lively things and fulfilling things. And you know, it's funny that you say that because I had to make a conscious decision to say, you know what, at this particular time, I'm not going to pursue. I don't want to say I'm not going to pursue acting because, you know, there are certain projects that are coming up down the pipeline that I'm really excited about, that would be passion projects. And sometimes working with certain people that I just absolutely adore, that I can't say no to because you just love working with them, you know, but I had to make a conscious decision to step away for a moment. And even with what happened with the shutdown, this was our opportunity to reset. Some people that hated their jobs, some people that were sitting in traffic all day, commute back and forth to work, some people that were missing time out with their families because of the hustle and bustle, because of them being overworked and underpaid and undervalued at their job. Now you have this opportunity to reset and look inward for what it is that you should be doing. Where should you spend your time? Where should you spend your energy so that you can elevate? Because sometimes it's not always about, okay, now you're pouring into someone else and building their empire. Well, you want to be full too. You know, I don't want to fill your cup up so much now I'm empty. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
not good. Yeah.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that at all. So I love that. I love that you reinforced that. I love that you reinforced that thought. And Diva said, "Oh no, okay, let's plan a part two." And you know how it is with
I
V.
know.
This is you are the first person to come back to Adrift, and I love
Yeah.
that because I wanted to make it like maybe to episode 15 before I started reinviting people, and here we are, episode 19. So this is crazy.
Yes.
So we do have a few things coming up, right? So we do have Letters to My Father, fall 2020. That's coming up. And might I also say that is an excellent example of something that you can, like, the people at home, people are listening, you can do that right now. You know, you can also write yourself a book, a memoir, just something to get it out there. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's interesting that you're doing that, putting yourself out there, being transparent, letting people know that it's okay to feel a certain way. So what's that like for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny, people don't know this, or maybe those that do know this, that I was in the book group with, and my fellow entrepreneurs and authors. But Letters to My Father, it started out as a journal. Hi, welcome. It started out as a journal. It was a way that I could reconnect with my father from when he passed. You know, I want to say the day after, you know, which was catastrophic to me in that in itself. Really allowed me to kind of revisit how I was feeling, connect, kind of unpack whatever it just happened, and how it happened, and the rapid rate that it happened. And then I made it somewhat of a tradition. Every birthday, every Father's Day, every anniversary. And here we are. And we're talking about 2011 till now, right? We're going 2020, it's almost going to be over. And here it is. I always knew I wanted to be a published author. I always knew that at some point I wanted to share this with the world. And that's why sometimes when they say what opportunity and preparation meet,
Yes.
that's exactly what happened, because I saw the opportunity and I jumped on it. Just like with the opportunity with Breakthrough. That was my entry point into authorship. That was my entry point into telling my story and laying the foundation for who it is that I wanted to be and everything else that I wanted to do. So whatever it is, it may be a blog, it may be a newsletter, it may be starting a magazine, wink, wink. And you know, whatever it is, you just find it, find your thing, find your niche, find your release, find your outlet. That's what it is. It's an outlet, because we all need one. We all need one. And once you find that, I'm telling you, you'll feel so much better. You'll feel free. You'll feel lighter, and it helps to ground me. I pray and hope that that's what it can do for you. So, tap into that.
No, thank you for sharing that, because again, like, I love that you said that everybody needs one, and I would even go as far as to say that everybody needs at least one. You know, because you know what I mean? Like, there's
more. Yes, you can have more than one. Yes.
Yeah, and there's also, like, let's say you know, you're working your 9 to 5, nothing against that, nothing bad, you know, get your grind on, but at the same time, don't define yourself solely by that job. You know, you can work that 9 to 5. You could flip a burger and be an author and be a poet and be a race car driver and do it all. Like, you don't have to just define yourself according to one single box.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, I can tell you right now, anybody can tell you, and look at this shirt will tell you. Okay, look. Okay,
yes.
Look at that.
That's right.
Okay.
Wait, let's read that real quick. Boss, entrepreneur, HBIC,
y'all know what that is.
Risk taker. That's right. That's the head
Goal
boss.
setter, go getter. And the bottom line is, all of that to say that you cannot put me in a box. You cannot limit me. There's no way, shape, or form. For some of the women that I like to model my career after, some people that I absolutely love, you know, like, let's say Queen Latifah, for example. She has done it all. There is nothing she cannot do. She literally is the queen. Yes, she started as a rapper or an MC, a female MC. But guess what? She's also an actor. She's a producer. She's been on her own shows. She did a jazz album. She's been on Broadway. There is nothing this woman can't do. And that's what I need you to know, anyone that's listening, that there's nothing you can't do. You can't be put in a box. You don't need to limit yourself, because sometimes we put our own selves in a box. And I love what you said about job, because listen, a job is not purpose sometimes. Right? So we don't need to automatically assume that because this is something that I do, I get up and do every single day, that is in fact my purpose, or that's my passion, and that's what's filling me up at night. Now, granted, there are some people that absolutely love their jobs, and that is exactly what they want to do, and that is their assignment. And kudos to them for finding it. It's all about finding that purpose and just setting it forth. I need that shirt in my life. Yes. So please, shout out to my girl, my little sis. She actually runs a company called Elite Ebony. You can follow them right now on Instagram. She makes beautiful shirts. A lot of them are socially conscious. For those that know that I went to the march on Washington, I wore one of her shirts designed, I wish that Karen would, honey. And when I tell you, it got a lot of a lot of play and notoriety and I mean cameras everywhere, you know. So definitely shout out Elite Ebony. So definitely look into that. But I love this shirt, and purple's my favorite color. So but yes, so before we go, I do want to thank you. But before we go, because, you know, usually it's red, you know, I know it had the red background. So I'm like, you know, I'm doing a little something different. I'm in another place in the house. But yes, so for those listening, because I know we're getting ready to wrap up, I want you to know right now, yes, Letters to My Father is going to be coming out. So I appreciate those that have pre-ordered, those that have supported, those that have been with me from the very beginning for this journey. It is on the way. It is on the way. So you just hold tight, okay? But currently now on pre-order is Our Truth Is Not a Lie. That is about the Black experience. It is a collaborative anthology. It is already out on audiobook. I will get that information to Fresco so that he can put that out there later, and you can also find that in my link tree. But with that, we are now releasing a special edition to a few people, okay? Hard copy. Hi, Natalie. So yeah, we're releasing a special hard copy edition, only going to be available until this Friday. So get on the link tree, pre-order this book, Our Truth Is Not a Lie, so that you can have this copy, and then you get a little free gift, a little something on the side along with that. And then of course, after that in October is The Evolution Effect. That is a pattern anthology about how to overcome barriers and overcome adversities to be your highest self. And then, of course, Life, Love, and Loss. So you got to tap in, stay connected, stay plugged in, especially on Facebook, for those that are dealing with any type of loss, especially now in this really key time that we need each other. We need the support. Definitely be sure to join the group Healing from Loss and Overcoming Grief on Facebook, and or just reach out to me, you know, at Vernae Taylor on both platforms, and let's talk. Let's build.
Let's do it. And also, as somebody who has spoken with Vernae Taylor, she is absolutely fantastic in just letting you know that everything's all right. You know, everything is as it should be. And I don't want to give too much about your story away, but I do want to acknowledge your strength, because based on what happened recently, I wanted to give you the time to heal. And I literally said to her, you don't have to come on. If you need the time, take it. And she said, no, we are doing this. So I just want to acknowledge your strength, Vernae, because you are really just a shining icon. So thank you so much. Thank you for your strength.
Thank you. Yes, but that's what it's all about. You know, it's about, and I was watching Rocky this past week, and you know, really just the foundational principles in that movie and the whole franchise is just freaking amazing. When you think about, it's about how hard you can get hit, and then you get up and you keep moving forward, and really that's what it's about. So to be all the way transparent, I mean, I've had some moments this week. It's been rough, you know, but I allow myself that time and space to have those moments, to cry, to melt down, to break down, to lash out, whatever it is I need to do, to scream, to throw something, whatever that is. But at the end of the day, you still have to move forward. Dust your shoulders off and get going, because there are some people that didn't wake up today. There's some people that didn't have breath in their body. There's some people that couldn't move their body. There's some people that died and got killed. Believe you me, this is what we're dealing with right now in the state of the world. And I think when we have the opportunity to have breath in our body and wake up and open up our eyes and see the sun shining, we have a roof over our head, it is our responsibility to live life to the fullest. Live it like it's our last, because honestly, we just don't know. We just don't know. So we all have purpose. We all have greatness in us. Find that, tap into it, and go for it. The time is now. The time is right now. There's no time to waste. You can't wait. This is why we're here. This is our reset. This is our time. Entrepreneurs, listen, you understand that maybe there's no job security, but guess what? There's security in you. There's security in your gifts and your talents and your skill set and your passion. So make it work for you. Let's go.
Scene. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you, Vernae. Thank you for all of our lovely audience, the people at
Thank
home,
you.
friends, family, the hearts. We've been blowing up a hearts today. Thank you so
Oh
much
my
for the
God.
love.
I have to
And
freeze.
yes, and
Like,
yes,
I don't
we
know.
will continue, and you will continue. So with these last few moments, oh, and definitely check out that book. Definitely get yourself that limited edition. I think Vernae is on, she's losing signal. That is okay. There she is.
Oh,
She's
there it
back.
goes. Okay. No, you know what it was? I was trying to take a little snapshot, a little screenshot, and I turned it off. I'm still here, guys. I hope you're still with us. But thank you, guys. Thank you so much for your comments, for engaging with us. Thank you for participating. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks for tuning in.
Mm.
And yeah, I can't wait for this to be on the page, and then we can share, and then he'll post, and I'll repost. You know how I do that.
That's it. That's it. And get your copies today. Get your, yes, please. And
Yes.
also,
Yes,
and
you
we're
can.
out. 3, 2 seconds. 1.